Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Work at Home Rockstar podcast. Today's guest, we have a software tester trainer from Xplorafory Test. Cool name. And what he does is he helps people to start a new career by training them to be software testers. So I'm super excited to be rocking out today with Jonas Breisel. Hey, Jonas, are you ready to rock?
Yes, hello Tim. I'm looking forward also.
Right on. Good. So we always start off here in a good note. So tell me a story of success in your business that we can be excited by.
Yes, sure. Uh, I will go into one of my biggest success stories. To give you a bit of background, it is about how things can be achieved when you put a lot of effort into it. So I started with this for like almost 5 years ago, especially with like marketing myself on especially LinkedIn. And I got almost no attention at all when you put out a post, maybe a few views and maybe one or two likes. And after continuing with this, I started to get a few more likes and people started to view it a little bit more, but it was still not that much. But I bought an education in how to use LinkedIn for social selling. And then I was able to grow my network and started to get more likes and views. But I didn't still not sell anything. So it was, what should you do with likes and views when you don't sell anything?
Yeah, exactly.
But but then I went into another community about social selling for LinkedIn. And they helped me to develop my content. So it became more engaging and also gave more value for the reader. Could say that we're focusing a lot more about talking about me and previously, and now I started to more share my knowledge and give people some value actually. And it's still the views and likes went up, and people were writing to me and started asking questions, and they started to see me as a thought leader. But I did still not sell anything. So, but I've been keep going with this. And last December, a really huge company here in Sweden, consultant company, reached out to me and asked if we could have a meeting. And I thought they wanted to cooperate with consulting and or something like that. But we have almost not started the meeting until he asked or say that he want to buy education from me, and he want to do it rapidly. And the reason for it was because he had seen me posting so much on LinkedIn, so he had already trust in me. So
Wow.
that was the biggest deal I've been able to close so far.
Wow, good job. Well done. So, I mean, this right here, it's I think one of the things that people don't necessarily get out of it really is when things don't work, they tend to try something else. But you actually kept moving forward, and not only that, but you reached out and looked for some help. Like,
Yeah.
how did you where did you go and find, let's start at the beginning. You said you found a some sort of program that would help you to build your LinkedIn. Where did you find that? Did you find that on LinkedIn or where did you
Yes,
find it?
I found it on LinkedIn. I
Awesome.
don't remember if he reached out to me or if I just saw him posting, but at least he convinced me that you need to be this thought leader, as I talked about, so people see you as the expert.
Yeah.
And another important thing you mentioned was that there are so few people that are posting on LinkedIn, so it doesn't matter how strange your topic is, you can be a thought leader because there's a few people that actually post.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, one thing though is that you're right. There's a lot of people that are posting the wrong type of content. So even though there's a lot of people out there posting stuff, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's a lot of competition because you are really only competing with people that are doing it right. And
Yeah,
then the other thing that you mentioned is that it's funny that you actually hired somebody to teach you what they did in order for you to hire them in the first place.
yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Yeah, so that's awesome that you were able to do that. That's cool. And then of course it leads to, the thing that's most important is the sales, right? So you just kept on going and trying to figure out how you're going to convert that to sales, which is awesome. It's good to hear. Now, along with good note though, sometimes things don't go as planned. So there's some bad notes there too, right? And
Yes.
it sounds like there was some struggles along the way. But is there something that maybe was a big mistake that you've made so far that you learned from and something that we can avoid?
Yes, and it goes a bit hand in hand with the success story.
Hmm.
That's, I'm I'm a really curious person, so I like to learn new things. And when I started my own company, all of a sudden I got lot more money to buy education for. So I started to invest, yeah, like this education we mentioned here, but I've kept investing in a lot of other things to learn marketing and sales, and yeah, and yeah, it becomes too much. So I did this, and yeah, it went well, and yeah, I started to do some calculations, and yeah, I can buy this one also. But yeah, when you come to a certain point, it became too much. And the
Yeah.
lesson out of this was that yeah, I could even not pay myself a salary for a while. So yeah, it was not going. Yeah, it went zero on the last line. But
Yeah.
the big learning from this was that you need to have look at your cash flow, so you know that I can invest in this one and still be able to pay my bills and things like this.
Yeah. Well, it's not even your only your cash flow, it's also your time. Because I mean, each of these programs that you buy, you have to spend time on them. So,
Yeah,
if you're spending time on all these different programs, then that's time taken away from the business that you're actually doing that's bringing in the income that's supposed to pay for these programs, right?
yeah. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I would not have been able to do this selling and marketing I have done. So yeah, if I don't have taken the educations, I wouldn't have been where I am today
Mm,
anyhow. So it was expensive lesson, but it has been a good lesson.
yeah. Well, and that tends to be the case too. The things that people say are their bad notes, their mistakes, end up getting them to where they are today anyway. Right? So
Yeah,
it's just a matter of kind of keeping on pushing forward and trying to solve the problems as they come up, right?
yeah,
Good. So now let's talk a little bit about practicing and about getting good at what you do. Because I mean, you sounds to me like you've got two things that you got to get good at. Mainly, you've got to get good at the actual work of like what you do, the testing stuff, right? And having all this expertise to give other people and probably staying up to date on that. But then you also have to be good at building your business and marketing and promoting and all that stuff. So what is it like? I know that you've already mentioned that you've bought courses and all that stuff, but is there anything else that you do to stay, sharp on your work?
yes. Since I have are doing consulting services as well, and then you are out in the real world as well, so to say. So I'm just started one now for a couple of weeks ago, and we are doing the most advanced test automation I ever have done before. And it has been good since then. I realized, okay, these tools are popular. These could be things I should bring in and have educations on, or at least do a LinkedIn post about to. Seems
Mhm.
like I am still on the top of, of the latest trends.
Wow.
And another thing I do also is that I am a facilitator of a meetup group where we meet outside working hours and just share knowledge for free. And that have made me like almost everyone that works with testing in this town I live knows who I am.
Wow. Wow. Okay. And were these ideas that you came up with on your own, or you saw some other people doing them and you decided to do them too?
The meetup group, the person that started that one, he have been like my biggest mentor. So, and he didn't want to do it anymore. So he asked if someone could do it, and no one was stepping up. And then I felt, yeah, I could do it.
Yeah, it's funny that not very many people want to volunteer for something like that, but it's very, very valuable, isn't it?
Yeah,
Good. Right on. So now how about getting fans? So you kind of touched on this a little bit before, but uh as you discovered, the audience is out there. You can get likes all you want, but when it gets
yeah,
to the point where they're actually converting to being a fan, I think part of that has been, um, really showing that you know what you're talking about, that you're a subject matter expert, and then people start to trust you a little bit more.
yeah.
But there still is, you know, I imagine you probably have people that are like picking your brain all the time, right? That want to get, free advice and all that stuff. How was it that you kind of like make a separation between, people that are just wanting to take from you versus, people that you can actually bring on as a customer?
Yeah, that have been a hard struggle since in the beginning you felt that no, I can't give this. What should I buy from it then? But then more and more people told me that you should share your knowledge, and the more you share, the more people will come to you.
Hmm.
But one really good advice here is to slice it and just give out a little piece. And then you can give it another piece next week. And then you can give out them in random order as well. And no one will be able to put it together anyhow. And they will need you. And it's one thing to also have the knowledge, and it's another thing to actually be able to use it.
Yeah.
Usually you need someone to lead you.
Hey, you're right about that. That's something that I've seen in my business as well, is that you may be given that information out, but you know what? It's the same thing as you. Imagine you're surfing the internet, you're trying to figure something out. You go and you find this document, this web page that tells you how to do it, and you still can't figure it out, right?
Yeah,
Like, I mean, the answer is right there if you knew how to use it. But that's the thing, is that most people don't know how to use it. Not only that, but have you noticed as well that they don't even want to? That's not what they're trying to do. They're trying to actually find somebody to solve the problem. They just want to know somebody that knows what they're talking about, right?
yeah.
Right on. So the way you would suggest it is you sort of define the parts that you're going to tell them for free versus the parts that they're going to have to pay for.
Yeah, the biggest struggle, I think, for me is like you were in your first question, that people started sending questions to me on LinkedIn and just wanted, as you said, advice for free. And that was a little bit like, okay, should I really do this? But at the same time, I realized that I could take this question, answer that one, and then I write a LinkedIn post about it and post it and show that I am able to, yeah, to answer this type of questions, or I have this knowledge.
There we go. That's a good idea. So what you're saying then is that you have one person asking a question. So instead of answering that one person with that question, you actually put it into an article and put it out there for everybody.
Yeah,
And now basically you've taken that one question that I'm sure somebody else is asking too, and you're covering a whole bunch of people with the same question. So really they're giving you the content to write about. They're giving you the idea for
exactly.
content to write about. Yeah. Good idea. That's a great idea. Okay, so now let's talk about the last topic, which is learning from the best. So now, we've touched on this already too. You've mentioned, you've got courses, you have mentors, you have meetup groups. It
Yeah,
seems like you have no problem with going out there and finding help. Let me ask you this question though. Why would you think that people would not want to go and seek help from other people and ask for help?
Hi, it's Mark Mawhinney from Natural Born Coaches, and I want to give two very big thumbs up to Tim Melanson and his Creative Crew agency. I have been using them for a long time, and I am 100% happy. They get the job done right, they're fast, and they let me focus on my business. I don't have to worry about anything. So again, I want to give them two very big thumbs up. I have no problem recommending them. I don't give testimonials for everyone because my name is attached to it, but I gladly do so for Tim and the Creative Crew agency. So use them, you won't regret it, and good luck.
I think one part is that maybe it feels frightening or embarrassing to need to ask for help,
Mhm.
and you also are afraid of getting a no.
Yeah.
That's
Have
one
you gotten
part.
any no's from people?
Yes, I have got no's, but I have got many yes as well.
Yeah. So why do you think someone would say no versus someone would say yes?
If a person says no, it could be that they are really, really busy, so they don't have time. But on the other hand, if they say no, maybe they doesn't was that good to get help from anyhow. Since a person that is willing to give you help, they usually know how to be a good mentor or coach.
Love it. I love that perspective. That's great. And I think you're right. I think if someone says no to you, number one, they may not actually know what they're doing. Right? So they might be just sort of posing as an expert, but they might not actually know, what it means. But the other thing that you just said is pretty good. Uh, Sometimes you might know exactly what to do, but you're not necessarily a very good teacher. You might not be able to teach it very easily to someone else. So it would take them a lot of thought and a lot of work to try to figure out how to teach it to you, even though they do know it, right? And like
Yeah,
you said, that's not really a good mentor. You're going to waste a lot of time trying to pull stuff out of that person. Whereas if you just keep on looking, you'll find somebody who's going to say yes, right?
yeah,
And I mean, we discussed this in this call in this interview. Like you're telling me that the way that you do it is by providing value that is helpful to other people. And you also hire people who provide value for other people too. So you know that there
yeah,
are people out there that's what they're doing. They're trying to provide value to other people. So you can get people to help you, and you could probably get a portion of that for free to give you an idea of what they know and how they can help you. And then, if you feel comfortable with that, then you can go ahead and create a paid relationship with them, right?
yes. Yeah, and that's something I learned also, even if, as I said, I bought too many courses and programs, but still that a program that you pay for, like a private person or that have like maybe a similar company to mine, they are usually really good experts and you learn so much. So it's usually worth paying for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess really the only thing that, and I don't even know if it's a discipline. I'm thinking that maybe it's an area that you don't really need to know. Maybe, maybe you're sort of just going, I just want to learn stuff for the sake of learning stuff, which is never a bad thing anyway, right? Maybe it's not the focus right now in your business, but the more you learn, the more rounded you become, and
Yeah.
anything can be helpful in your business, right?
Yes. And I really needed to learn how to sell and how to do marketing since I didn't know how to do that.
Okay. So when it comes to that, do you do most of your selling online or do you have Zoom calls? Or how do you do that?
Yeah, I mostly do it online through LinkedIn is my most important channel, but I also use other social media. And the main thing I have done is doing webinars. And
Hmm.
what I want to get out of the webinar is that they book a free 30-minute meeting with me that I just call, I named it to how to get a great career call. I named it to. So it's completely free with no obligations. And there I try to sell them my course.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's move on to your guest solo then. So I want to get into that a little bit first, but before that, why don't you tell me what's exciting in your business right now?
Yes, it is what is my vision, and that is to help other people to discover the power of software testing so they can build a life they are proud of.
So this when you help people, are you helping people to find jobs or to start businesses?
Now to find a job. So I give them the knowledge to be able to do the job, and then I also help them with finding a job. Since many educations is just here, have the knowledge. Now I don't care.
Oh, so you can take, oh, that's right. So someone who's maybe has gone to university or gone to college or taken some sort of course and now they're having a hard time finding a job. That's your main client is someone you get them from where they are now with the knowledge to the actual position, to the job.
Yeah, most people that come to me want to switch career. So they
Oh,
have been working for a couple of years and then they want to switch career. And then I have a 9-week program where you become a software tester. And there I also help you with updating your CV, LinkedIn profile, and also train you for the interviews, and also help you come in contact with companies that can hire you.
Okay. So do you actually tell them which companies to contact, or you show them how to find the companies to contact?
Both.
Both.
Yeah, since I use my contact net as much as I can, but they also need to go out and search for themselves. I used to say that I will give you all knowledge you need, and I will give you all tools you need to perform on an interview and things like this, but you still need to put in the work by yourself.
Of course. How did you come up with this idea?
Actually, it was when I started my company, and this person that had the meetup group I took over, as I mentioned, was my mentor. He was teaching at vocational studies, and that education is like 1.5 years long. And he wanted me to take over that. So I did that, and I became so popular, so they started reaching out to me from all different schools. I had to say no. And then when I done that for a while, I realized that this education sucks. They put in wrong things, and they are so unnecessarily long. So then I created my own formula that is only 9 weeks instead of 1.5 years, and put in the right content.
Wow. Okay. And obviously, you know, you've got people that are getting success from that. They're actually getting the right information out of that. That's great.
Yeah.
So where do you
And
see your business in the next few years?
I see it growing, where it will also be able to actually stand on its leg on only the education part, and then the consulting part will just be for fun.
Wow. Yeah, I think that's probably it. Yeah, because I mean those are two very different businesses that you're doing at the same time. So I imagine at some point it's going to get too busy.
Yeah, but I also have one employee at the moment, and I plan to get more that is working as consultants. And the plan is to bring them in the teaching part as well. So then they will get more salary. They will get a part of what I get for the educations. So that will motivate them to help out with the educations.
Wow, right on. So one more question, like so now let's go back to before all this. Like why did you decide to work for yourself rather than just go get a job?
I would say it was three things. And since I've been working as a consultant all my career, and I would say that I had a good job and good managers as well, but I still wanted to get more money, since you get more money when you have your own business. And I wanted to be able to choose which education I invested in myself. And I also wanted to do more of educations to teach others. Since I did that a little bit, but as I just said here, I didn't get any extra money to educate people, but they earned a lot more than I hold the educations.
Okay. Yeah, and that's funny, hey, how that works is we kind of go, "Oh, I want to make more money, so I want to start my own business." And it takes a little bit of time
Yes.
before you get to the point where you could be making more money and you might not even ever get there, right? So there's got to be some other reasons behind that too, right? But other than just the money, right?
Yeah.
And for you, it was more or less you wanted to be a little bit more in control of your path, right?
Yeah.
Right on.
And be able to choose what I wanted to do.
Yeah, and that same thing with me. It was more of a freedom thing, I think, for most people. It's the money's good, you know, once you get there, but I mean, it could take a decade before you're making more money than you are at your job, especially if you leave a job where you've gotten pretty far in that job, right? Starting all over again,
Yeah.
you know. But the big benefit, I think, for most of us is the freedom to be able to choose what you do, how you do it, who you do it for, when you do it, right?
Yeah. And I had an interesting discussion with some other people that also have their own company, that said that when they're afraid to starting the company, since it feels like, oh, if I don't get an assignment or can't sell anything, then I'm out of money. But it's at least you will not get fired. I mean, if you have a job today, it's huge risk to get fired.
I yeah, I had that same conversation because I did when I started my business, I my job, my cubicle job was in IT. I'm actually an IT person too. I have a degree in computer science. So I worked as a programmer for a long time for a big company here in Canada, and they were laying off the entire time. I was there for 8 years, and it was right from 2000 to 2008, and that was like layoff time. And so, it was not, I didn't consider it to be safe and secure at all. I was like, if I lose this job, I lose all my income. If I go out there and find 10 clients, if I lose a client, I lose one client. But 10, I've got nine more. Right. So for me, I felt the same way. I was like, if I lose, it's just as there's risk everywhere nowadays, right? There's no such thing as, go work for a company and, you've got security for 30 years, 40 years. It just doesn't happen anymore. You've got to be a little bit more proactive, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and you got a good other point there. That is one of the reasons that I'm doing education and consulting. That is that I have two different income streams.
Diversify a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Right on. So tell me, how do we find more information about you?
My LinkedIn, I would say, is most likely the best place. But I also have a web page that is my company name .com, so Xploraforytest.com.
Awesome. Xplorafory Test, and I'll put that in the show notes so people can see what that website actually is. And your LinkedIn page, what's that? Just your name?
Yes, I have removed the number, so it's just my name.
Awesome. So that'll also be in the show notes as well. So it's Jonas Breisel. Awesome. Thank you so much for rocking out with me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me as a guest. It was fun.
Awesome. And just for the listeners, make sure you subscribe, rate, and comment. We'll see you next time on the Work at Home Rockstar podcast.